selling real and Chevy.
Hey everyone, welcome to IJustWatched. I know it's been forever and 18 days, but we're back. Joseph and David, David and Joseph. And I did that backwards both times. I said Joseph and David and Joseph. But you know who, which one is what, and who is where.
And we sit over there.
Welcome back. We appreciate you waiting on us. It's been a hiatus, but we're back, and we are going full speed.
Did you fail to mention that we're back?
I want to, like quantum that shit. I want them to understand.
So you had to make it real small.
You know what I'm saying? I want it to be like, I want them to just float over the head because they're not going to understand that we are back.
Yes, we are.
But let's get into it. Official warning, this is going to be our thoughts and spoiler discussion. So again, spoiler warning because we're going to go in all the shenanigans that is the movie. And I've dragged this on long enough, but I got to hit you with the usual, which is hopefully you like this video enough to hit that like button. Click the subscribe to stay tuned and see more of our videos, our content that is now officially going to be coming back out. Sorry. Alright, so that being said, we're jumping into The Batman. Overall, like our thoughts, what we liked, what we didn't like, before we get into like the meat of the movie and things of such. A couple things I really liked. My favorite thing, without a doubt, in this movie is the sound design. I kept telling you, as soon as we watched it, I was like, dude, the fucking sound was amazing, oh my god.
Just like that.
It basically, like, it's just little things, like, for one, the music, not just the score, but the soundtrack, and then the way, like, the breathing, when he was, like, when Riddler's in the mask, and when he's walking the boots, or the car when it turns on, because the car was like, all right, the Batmobile, it's not bad, like, we'll see how it works, and then it turns on, and the sound hit, and I was like, oh, that's nice. Wow. I was like, I like that a lot.
It's almost as good as a tumbler.
So that was my favorite thing, not the car, the sound design, the way they used it. I don't want that to get lost, because to me the car was alright. Anyways, sound design, amazing, beautiful, I loved it, 100% all in. I'll watch it again just for that. Another thing that I liked it because it was neat, but then once it hit me that I was like, oh yeah, that's just the Watchmen Rorschach all over again. I was like, I still like it, but I was like, it was one of those where that's where it's from. My second favorite thing of the entire movie is Gotham itself. Like, as a character, as a city, it felt big. It felt like huge.
It was way bigger than
like any other.
It felt way bigger than the leaks that we got. Yeah. Because it's like a small town in Germany. You know what? I could be wrong, but it's in, I think, Dublin. It's in Ireland. I don't know where it's at.
Yeah, I know
it's overseas.
They filmed like in 3 different cities.
Yeah, it had that massive feel of being the biggest city in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
For every 5 people, and this is how it felt to me. Every 5 people, there was 10 buildings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, there was more structure and more architecture than there was buildings. And it gave a real Gotham feel because in every scene, it was raining.
And dark.
Yeah, it was raining.
Oh, if it wasn't like nighttime, it was sunrise or sunset.
You know, the only thing it was missing were Zeppelins.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Then it would have been Gotham.
It would have been perfect. And it was really good. Like, the way they designed it, the way it looked, it just felt great. One of the cool things in the beginning is when he's giving us the initial monologue and stuff, and it just shows us different crime and how every time they look at a shadow, they're kind of like, oh shit, he could be there. Get into the movie itself. I personally think it's a great movie, and I'm gonna say it like this for very specific reasons. I think the movie itself is great. The visuals are great. The sound is great. The story is dope. It's an interesting story. It's definitely not truly Long Halloween. It took like 3 or 4 things from Long Halloween.
We counted 3.
And it called itself the Long Halloween, imagining, and I was like, that's bullshit.
Pointed out, he was like, because the narration he's talking about, he was like, October 31st. And you're like, okay, boom. Hey, that's more of like,
yeah, okay. The biggest one was really was Falcone.
Well, we'll get into spoiler territory.
We'll get into that. It's a great movie. However, as a Batman movie, as a Detective Comics movie, as a movie based on characters in the Batman universe, not that good to me, and I'll tell you why exactly. I know people are gonna disagree or whatever, but it's fine. But it just, we've had this before. The Nolan trilogy, great, of course, but at the end of the day, it's all about taking this super fantastical, crazy, awesome character,
grounding it,
and then making it like, if this was real life, this is what it would be like. And I'm like, that's cool, but like, I'm tired of seeing that. That's all I get. If this was real life, this is what it would be like. If this was real life, I'm like, it's not real life. I don't want to see if this was real life. I'm tired of seeing this. Because, like, okay, it brings me back to Joker. Joker, great movie. I like the version of it. But technically, that's not Joker. They just put the title over a great movie.
And that's what we said. It's like, but you could have called it
anything. The mental patient.
Yeah.
Adding or maybe describing, like, why this movie to me, if this was okay, like if Nolan didn't exist the first time I got this version of like super grounded, realistic Batman, I'd have been like, oh shit, this is crazy, this is great. Still not the Batman I want, but how'd you like the movie?
Oh, I thought it was a good take. I mean, obviously, you know, we were expecting the Long Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, we were expecting Calendar Man, and we were expecting, you know.
Oh, remember? Sorry, they gave us the Long Halloween comic.
Then they gave it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When we went in, they handed us a reprint of the Long Halloween Part 1.
That might be the third thing.
Yeah, honestly, that probably is the third thing.
But yeah, so you know, they were building it as the adaptation of the Long Halloween, and like I said, and like we said, there was 3 references, and that was it to the Long Halloween, and they were minuscule at best.
Yeah.
But other than that, I was real divisive. I really don't know if I was okay with Pattinson. You know, I had somebody at work tell me, you know, hey, if they put him in the light and he starts shining, you better walk out of there. And I was like, yeah, like, exactly. But Pattinson, as Bruce Wayne, not intimidating.
No.
Just a rich boy who the emo rich boy.
Yeah.
But in the suit.
I read a comment. I was like, this Batman movie is for the emos, the goths, and the horrors.
But in the suit, intimidating.
Yeah, it made him look much bigger.
Yeah, the one thing I was very excited about is seeing the world's greatest detective, and I'm here to tell you, spoilers, he is not the world's greatest detective. Like he said, I love the sound. Sound can make a bad movie watchable.
100%.
Obviously, I love the title.
Well, yeah,
you know, the Batman.
It's the perfect title.
It is the perfect title, and comic book fans will understand the difference between a movie called Batman and a movie called The Batman. Very different. You know, I was this close to being disappointed that he didn't say I'm the goddamn Batman, because if he would have said that. Other than that, I wasn't disappointed. I still think it as a film. I still put it on par with The Dark Knight. The reason I'm saying that is because Nolan was so good at, so funny I'm saying this, at grounding stuff, and we were complaining about grounding, but Nolan was so good at it, and that is the bar.
Yeah.
You know, The Dark Knight, I mean, for better or worse, is the bar.
Yeah.
And once you hit that bar, get close to that bar, well then you're definitely making $1 billion, and you're making another movie, or maybe multiple movies, with this cast.
Yeah.
And this movie could be set up. You could end it the way it ended and never make another one.
Yeah.
And be fine. Obviously, they're going to revisit it because Hollywood,
like, almost made $300 million opening weekend.
Hey, Hollywood loves sequels.
Let's get into it. Let's talk about why we feel the way we feel. Great film. I genuinely love it as a film. Once the Batman fan in me, the comic book fan in me, the fucking stickler for, like, I want to see something closer to the source material versus the continued realistic version or take. I'm over it. I don't hate it because the movie was so damn good. My personal breakout favorite was Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Oswald Cobblepot.
I did not. For one, yeah, this prosthetic looked amazing, but we knew that from trailers and all that. It was, I don't have a better word, but amazing. And he killed it. Like, I like the little things he did, like the little gold teeth, and he was just he had this genuine suaveness to him. Even when he was talking to the Batman, terrified, he was still being kind of like a smart ass and
But he wasn't Penguin.
No.
We have to make that abundantly clear that he was not Penguin, because once he puts a top hat and tails on, then he becomes the Penguin.
I just loved him as that version of the character. I thought that was cool. He was interesting. He was both funny and intense, and he carried a lot of scenes for me. Just the way he carried himself.
I just love to see the fact that he was a not mid-level. He was a mid to higher level thug. I mean, he was in the room with the main guy. He was in the room with Falcone. So anywhere Falcone was, he was
sat
there.
At the table.
So if there was a power vacuum, if something were to happen to Falcone, then he would be
he was the vice president of the situation.
Yeah, he would be elevated to that. He chewed up the scenery. Every scene he was in, you were focused. So yeah, I think he was the breakout star of the movie.
Yeah. Very pleasant surprise for me was Zoe Kravitz. I always liked her. I have nothing against her. I think she's a pretty good actress. So when she got cast as Catwoman, I was like, cool. I can see it. Let's see how it plays off on screen. And I think she killed it. I like the way she moved. When she walked, it felt like Catwoman. You know what I mean? The way she carried herself felt like Catwoman. It was really the first time you see her, she puts on the suit and hops out her window. The way she went down, to me, felt like I was playing a video game. I was reading a comic. I was like, oh, some Catwoman shit right there. I mean, Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon. I mean, Jeffrey Wright is a great actor to begin with. I'm glad they gave him the mustache because Jeffrey Wright killed it. And it was cool, but it wasn't anything like, oh shit, this is crazy. You know, he's like, it's just good.
My take on it was he was still Lieutenant Gordon. He still didn't have full power. He still didn't have. He still wasn't the Gotham's top cop.
Oh yeah.
You know, they didn't call. I mean, he wasn't the man yet. He was still like, you know, I hate doing this, but you know, back to the Nolan stuff. You know, where that Gordon, Gary Oldman didn't become commissioned till the middle of Dark Knight. If I was giving it like a grade, it'd be an incomplete because he's not Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, he's not. Of course, I mean he's not there yet.
And Jeffrey Wright, you know, there's no doubt in my mind that Jeffrey Wright can do that and do it very well. Paul Dano.
Thank you. Yeah, I think Girl Next Door, but we'll move past that because this is like a completely different Riddler because the Riddler is very like over the top and egocentric, and he's just like this, like he's like I'm the best, and he's not. But I like this version of him, but like again, this version was a very like if the Riddler was a real person, he wouldn't be some flamboyant dude. He'd just be the serial killing person.
He reminded me a lot of the Zodiac killer. Zodiac.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah,
he's really
the only time you thought you knew he was a Riddler is because he had a question mark on.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
I mean, because I believe the Zodiac killer wore glasses. I love the voice. I thought the voice was great,
and I liked like because he had moments when he was like in control and then he would lose it. And I thought that was like, it worked, because I mean they really just gave us like this super crazy, out of control Batman version of the Zodiac killer character, and then they call him the Riddler. Like it was good for the movie, I liked it, but it was just different. But I liked it. Like I did like it. It was cool to watch. It was interesting. What helped it work was the story itself. Even his apartment reminded me of like Seven.
Yes, very Seven. This movie was very Seven.
Yeah, like it had that whole feel. But like I think the story itself like helped because it made him way smarter than he really is. Paul Dano did a great job with this version of the Riddler. It's like you know how Jim Carrey's Riddler is like way too far to the crazy jokey version. This one was like a huge overcorrection to the other side. I was like, we need a balance because that's where he's supposed to be. You know, for this world it worked. From what we got, like story wise, the fact that the way he plans it and does the whole like try to drown Gotham, and there is no try. He did drown the fuck out of Gotham.
Well, that drowning set up for another movie. It becomes a wasteland, and there's a power vacuum, and everybody takes a piece of Gotham. Kind of like
they section that whole up.
Kind of like if you've seen the Harley Quinn show, they do this as well. It's really good.
Carmine Falcone. It took me a minute to see the scars. Once I saw the scars, I was actually happy.
Agent Simmons.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For what is it? The S7. Sector 7, man. Or Jesus from The Big Lebowski with the ball. He really gave me that Falcone vibe. The only difference is Falcone in the comics is also huge.
Well, everybody's huge.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if you're not huge, you're malnourished. As Falcone, like I liked it. Like his presence when he talked and stuff, like it just felt good, and he did a good job. But
he felt like the Gotham's crime boss.
Yeah, exactly. And you never really see him do anything along that side. He just was the man.
And he took down the Maronis.
Yep. And of course, you get the backstory from Long Halloween with Thomas Wayne, and you know, on the fucking kitchen table, the whole bullet and blah blah blah.
Bruce is sitting there watching it happen.
Yeah, and like so that was cool, and the way he told and delivered was dope, you know. And then he's Selina Kyle's papa, and like you just like it was
another Long Halloween.
Yeah. So like you know there was a few. You know what? You could argue the fourth one is the fact that he's been Batman for 2 years. Long Halloween is like 2 years. I don't really want to drag it on. Like he just did a good job. He did a really good job. I like this version of Falcon. He was probably the most comic book accurate character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's kind of whack because he's the easiest to do. Scars and like his presence, yes, but just visually, he was probably the closest one to being comic book accurate. But then Alfred, I always feel bad for Andy Serkis because I feel like he gets the shit end of sticks.
He gets shit
because he's such a talented dude. Like I love him as Claw. I love him as.
Hey. Love him as Claw. Dead.
Yeah. I was about to say, okay. Loved him as Caesar, but you couldn't see his face. Dead. I loved him as Golf. Dead. I love like anytime you love him, either if he's in it a lot, you don't see his face. He's doing mocap shit, and then gets killed off anyways.
Didn't die in The Prestige.
You're right. He was a better butler there.
He was a better Alfred in The Prestige.
In The Prestige
than he was as Alfred.
Here. Yeah. The Alfred in The Prestige was. And this Alfred was whack in comparison.
Go watch Prestige.
So Andy Serkis in this movie as Alfred is like, for one, their relationship is completely like. I mean, yes, there's versions of the comics when they don't get along. They completely butt heads, which makes no sense because they butt heads, But then they completely scratch Batman's origin story of being a ninja assassin trained by the demon head himself, and Alfred trained him. But you butt heads about it, then why the fuck you train him?
Well, this is the Alfred. This is the military Alfred.
Well, isn't he technically always been a veteran? As far as I can remember.
I don't know.
As far as I can remember, he was always a vet. Him training Robert Pattinson, I genuinely hate that. Like, you just killed off Ra's al Ghul and that entire Ray's Rod. I'm upset. Kill Demon Head and then entire society. Talia, you killed and then that leads into so much more that now just, you know what I mean? And let's be honest, okay, you're a great military man and you fighting skills are impeccable. Cool. You're gonna tell me that Batman is gonna be able to win every fight with that? Please.
You need decades and decades.
Yes, you need that. You need that. And then it makes sense, but it leads into so many things that I hate about this Batman. He's not Batman. He's not a ninja. He's not darkness. He's not a monster. The only thing that they did that was really cool to me when it came to Batman was the fact that we got a bit of a detective. He was a shitty one, but he was a detective nonetheless, you know? And I was okay with him being a bad one. Because that's the only time I was like, okay, he's a young Batman. He's 2 years. Mm-hmm. He's learning this detective shit. This dude just walks into, like, just eats bullets the whole movie. When does Batman just walk into place and let you just eat? That's Superman shit. Superman walks and eats bullets. You know how I know they don't understand the character? His cape was short, and then they put him in a squirrel suit to jump off the building. Even Bale, like, for being a realistic one.
Little Bale?
Dude, at least he threw, what, like 2 batarangs? Batarangs don't even exist here.
Batarangs wouldn't work.
Batarangs technically shouldn't work in general. I mean, the comic books have an arch for, like, the rang part. But, I mean, whenever does he throw one and really expect to get it back? When
the rang part?
It's because Boomer rangs.
No.
I felt like that was the right.
Yeah, okay.
Was that wrong?
No.
I felt like that was decently accurate.
That was very accurate.
The thing about Batman is that it is bulletproof, but his idea is not that he's just going to eat those bullets. He John Wicks it, in a sense, where he takes it, but because of his will, because of his savagery, because of his mental capability, he dodges them, and the ones that do hit, he mentally eats them and then beats you down anyways. And later on, when he's like in the Batcave, you know, he takes off his thing and he's like damaged, and he's just like, doesn't matter, you know, body, well, I'm gonna push it past its capabilities because I need to be better. Like this one, when he takes off the thing and you see all the cuts and bruises in his back, I was like, dude, with all that armor, you're telling me Alfred was cutting you up or what during training?
Look, I didn't have a problem. He was very unintimidating as Bruce Wayne. Not the playboy, pulls up in a helicopter or whatever, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't that guy. He was more of, I got a lot of money and I'm really mad. His Batman, very intelligent, imposing in the suit, very imposing in the suit. The suit, I didn't mind. The armor, I get it. To disagree with Joe here, the shirt doesn't translate for me. I like how they brought in the collar from Gaslight.
Gotham of Gaslight?
Yeah, I thought that was, I like the collar. I'm a big fan of the short ears. I don't like the long ears. There was times where he was right here, and Bale's voice that we make fun of so much was like right there, and I'm like, man, one more octave, dude, and you're there. I did like that in other iterations in other movies where he would take off the cowl, he'd just have his face. Here, he took off the cowl and he had the blacked out that he put on. He was billed as the world's greatest detective, obviously. He wasn't, but you can see where this movie shows that he can be got, and I think him being such a brilliant mind, that's not going to happen again. And I think Matt Reeves has the foresight to see if they make other movies that, okay, he's intimidating, let's give him a longer cape. He's intimidating, let's make the cape a glider instead of the squirrel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's year 2, so he should already have these things. From what I took was, okay, he's got this, he's got this, he's got this. He didn't know that he could do this. Now he knows he could do this. And in the next movie, you know, because remember, Michael Keaton, who in a lot of people's eyes is the greatest Batman, in the first one, 89, he pulls up like this, and it's literally like the cape just turned plastic for some reason, like, mm-hmm. And then, you know, so there's room to grow, there's room to show how he got it, why he got it. You know, I'm really giving him the benefit of the doubt, because I really enjoyed this movie, and I really enjoyed his take, him and Matt Reeves' take on what vengeance is. I don't think they call him the Batman like 2 times.
I think it was always vengeance.
Yeah, until the Riddler gang said, we're vengeance, and he was like, whoa, I'm not gonna do that.
Oh, hey, I am not affiliated with that.
The one thing I really didn't like was at the very end. He's sitting there helping. Batman doesn't do that. If anything Batman does, he'll go on a freaking tower and watch. You know what I'm saying? Or stand and watch.
I genuinely like this as a movie. I have nothing against Robert as Batman. I wanted to give him benefit of the doubt. I think the dude's a talented actor. And this is for what it is, it's a good version. But I've seen this. All it is an updated version of the same shit. And I'm over it. You know what I mean? Just personally, as a legit huge, like, if I kept getting a bunch of Superman movies where Superman was just in a bunch of armor and he just ran around beating up people because he worked out a lot, I'd be like, okay, cool, but I'm over that shit. It reminds me of, and I kind of told you, like, okay, my Tom Holland feelings for his Spider-Man, I never really liked him as Spider-Man, not because of Tom Holland, not because of his acting, just because like he didn't become Spider-Man until the very end of the third movie, literally the very end. And it's cool, he's finally Spider-Man, but I'm like, he's been out forever. But like, it's that sense, like, okay, cool, they could do that. Okay, yes, he's year 2, and eventually he becomes the bat we're supposed to see. But a lot of things he can't do because of little things here. Alfred training him, you got to remove all kinds of stuff that he would originally or usually be capable of. He's very intelligent. I genuinely agree with that. It was cool to see the way he analyzed things, or the way, like, my favorite thing that they added was the contacts. How he could go back and rewatch. Mm-hmm. Instead of giving us the white eyes, they gave us contacts. And he would just rewatch the events and like learn and like, okay, I thought that was cool. But I mean, as a movie fan, great movie. Loved it. I'll watch it again, and I will watch it again. As a huge Batman fan, it's not anything new. I think that's why everyone's like, oh, Dark Knight this, Dark Knight that, because it's Bale's Batman versus Pattinson's Batman, but it's basically it's extremely similar Batman. Overall, would I say watch this movie? Yes. Definitely. Is it rewatchable? Yes. Will you enjoy it? Most likely. If you don't really care for like the fact that it's extremely not like the parts that I care about, like being Batman and all that, this probably is your favorite Batman movie ever. It's a contender for that spot, But at the same time, that's why that's why Christian Bale is not my favorite Batman, because he's too realistic. You know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there. Overall, great movie. Matt Reeves killed it.
He killed it.
Dude, his visuals on top of it were amazing. I love the car scene alone, dude. I don't know how much of it was real. I did send you this thing. He said when they jumped through fire, that was real. It was not CG. They actually jumped the car through fire.
Yo, hey, that car scene is worth the price of it.
And like I said, like that scene, I haven't told you, but like that scene to me was amazing. And when he's walking up, it's like, oh shit, this is crazy. And then what kind of took me out of it is when like he gets on a knee and bends down, and I was like, oh, they should have just cut. They should have just cut to something else. Because they went from like this super intimidating thing, and he's like, hey.
If you're a comic book movie fan, then obviously you've already seen this, so yeah. Everything we've said is just a retread of what you either agree with or disagree with. Yeah. But DC's making an effort. Yeah. Detective Comics.
It's an Elseworld, it's a what if for now. Or maybe they build off of this to do something else. But as of right now, it is 100% its own Earth in the multiverse that is DC.
Oh, shit, I totally forgot. So one thing they did great in this movie, they didn't kill the villain. Unlike the guys across the street, if you know what I'm saying. They sit there and kill their villains left and right.
Smoke them all day.
Yeah. And then, Paul Dano's in Arkham.
Yeah. Next to the Joker. They start to grow in the way you described it. If they basically Tom Holland Spider-Man this way and it starts progressing, I think that would be cool. But at the same time, I would really like someone to have the balls and the goal to make it accurate. No one liked Aquaman, and that whole was accurate as full. The one thing I would say is spend a little money and watch it in something that has great sound.
Dolby.
Preferred, because that's my shit. I enjoyed it. He enjoyed it. I hated it. He enjoyed it.
Tell us who you think should be cast as the next villain.
That'd be cool. Or, yeah, what villain would you like to see?
What villains would you like to see, and who would you cast?
Yeah, because that'd be...
I would go with Batman the Animated Series' version of Dr. Freeze. But
yeah, I know, but...
Yeah. I'd like to see that with the wife. Mm-hmm. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, and it would fit into this pre-built,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, just if I don't say it, I'll regret it if I was right. Yeah, I know it's adrenaline, but it was green, and he got like super rageful. So it's like, that's Venom, right?
No, I know. I heard people saying that as well.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's
like
Venom.
Like, I get it. It's adrenaline. But, like, then why was it green? And the first thing he did was, "Rah, I'm angry." But I want to hear your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns. Do you agree, disagree with anything we've said? What did you think about it? What you like, didn't like? Where would you like to see this go? And with that being said, what's your favorite live-action DC film and character and why? But, again, until next time, stay safe, be well. Adios.